Hello guys, welcome back. So in today's video we are going to see that how can we create widgets by using loops. So in previous video we have created a GUI application that collects users information and store it in a CSV file. So in that video we saw that for each and every entity that we are going to take from the user, we needed to create label and entry box frame for each and every entity. So in today's video we are going to see that how can we reduce the code by using the loops. Alright, so we can create labels like name, user age, etc. at once instead of all separate by using for loops or any other while loop. Alright, so now let's see how we are going to do this. So first we need to import Tkinter as Tk. Alright, and now from Tkinter we need to import Tk. Alright, now so first, as we have seen in previous video already, I am going to create a variable called win and store Tk. Alright, so remember the T here is capital but K must be small, otherwise it will create problems. Alright, now I am going to use the title method to title my application. So basically it is just a small application. It will be going to take some entities from the user and print it on the screen. Alright, so basically the main purpose of this video is to show you that how can we use loops to create widgets so that it can help us minimize the code. Alright, now I'm going to name this video loops. You can name it whatever you want. So basically the main purpose of this video is to how to use the loops to create widgets. So that is why I'm naming my application loops. Alright, now first we need to create labels. Alright, so I'm naming it labels. So all the code that I am writing here will be uploaded. Alright, so don't worry about the code. So it is a good practice if you write along with me. Alright, so if there are any mistake which will occur at the end, so you can just learn from it right away. Alright, now let's start it. So I am going to name my list labels. So basically there are 6 entities which I am going to take from the user. So the common entities: name, age, gender, country, state, and suppose city. So there are 6 entities which we need to create frames. So there is one way that we have seen in the previous video, that we need to generate labels for each and every entity that is representing here. So there is another way I can reduce it by using the for loop. So I can write here simply range, and by using the len method I can calculate the length of each and every entity and write here labels, which is the name of the list. Alright, so to current label I am using the current label variable. Alright, so in this current label variable I am going to store each and every entity. So I can just directly convert it into string. Basically they are already string, but I am, for the safe side, I am using str. Alright, in some cases you don't need to use this. Alright, now by using this same variable I am going to now create the label frame. So basically suppose at 0 index we have the name. Alright, so the name is stored in and it will convert into string by using this str, as it is already string. So it will, if you don't put it, it will not generate an error. And then what we are going to do, we need to create the label frame. So we already know this. We need to use this ttk module and then the label method. Alright, so And then we have again the win. In win variable, of course, we will be having the text. Alright, and then we need to put the text, and in text we need to write the labels, the variable name of the list, and index is I, so it will automatically increment it. So basically what we have been doing here, in text variable, as long as the name of the list, we have created an increment variable which is I, which will be incremented according to the length of the argument here. Alright, so let's proceed further. So again we have this current label, and now we need to grade it on the screen. So basically we have seen it by so far. To grade it, we just need to select the row and column. Alright, so to assign the row, I am going to put I, which will be incremented according to the entities, and we need to put the column. There's a typo. Alright, now it is fine. So I am assigning it the 0 column. Alright, now so I am using sticky. Alright, so sticky, the module which we has imported as tk, and w. The w must be capital here to write it on the screen. Now it's time to close our loop. Alright, so I can main loop should be closed. Alright, let's see that our labels is appearing on the screen or not. Let's run this program. We can see that all the entities are appearing right after another: name, age, gender, country, state, and city. Now we have seen this how to create it. Alright, it is perfect. Let's close this window for now. Now there is another thing that we need to create if we want to write the entities that are required from the as a user. So now we need to create the entry box. Alright, first we need to create a dictionary called user info. Alright, so and then it is the dictionary, and now the name. So I am going to assign each and every entity a string variable. Alright, this is something that we need to do it by ourselves for each and every entity. So I can write here a string var. Alright, I can just copy from here and paste it again and again. Alright, and then we can change the name 3, 4, and 5. So and it was the age. So gender, country, and state. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there is one thing is missing, which is the city. Alright, so there is no need to put the comma here, and it is extra. Alright, so we have created a dictionary which contains 6 entities that we are going to make the entry box. Alright, now so I am going to create a variable called counter and assign 0 value to it. Alright, now I am going to make the for loop. Alright, so this time I am going to put it into the variable called user info. So as I put my loop into the variable called user info, so each entity will be running one by one. So I'm going to create a variable called current entry box. Alright, so now I need to write here entry plus I. Alright, so as it will contain So basically it will be accepting the entry, and whatever the string will be writing here will be concatenated with this entry. Now for the same we need to create the entry box. So we need to use ttk dot entry, alright, and again the win and the width, alright. In the width I'm going to write the 16, and now the text variable, which is the user info, and I, alright, win and the width is 16, text variable is equals to the user info, which is 16. So basically it is the same that we have created for the text here. So we need to use the text variable when we are using the entry box, alright. We have also seen it in the previous video. Now we need to grid it on the screen. So I can directly use this grid method, and which is of course column, and column I can say that which is equals to 1, and the row, alright. So the row which I can say that the counter, alright, which the variable that I created when before proceeding with the loop, alright. So after mentioning row and column, I am going to increase this counter variable by 1, alright. So it will increase one by one. Now I need to, so after creating this entry box, I need to use this submit button. So basically if I wanted to print it on the screen whatever user entered in the entry box, so there is only one way I can print it on the screen, if I create a submit button. So for this I need to create a function which I call submit. You can call it whatever you want. We used I in user info. So for let's define u in user info, alright. Now I am going to print it user info, alright, and to print it one by one, so I'm going to use this u variable which will be implemented, and to get the value I'm using this get method. It will bring the value and print it on the screen. I need to exit this function and make a grid for this submit button. So I am going to create a variable called submit button, and in this I am going to use it as a button. So there is a method called button, we have seen it, alright. And again when text here, text, in text I am going to write the submit, alright, which is predefined, and we have command. In command I am going to call this function which is submit. I need to write the underscore here, otherwise it will generate error if I write the submit dot button, alright. Now I need to grid this on the screen, so I can write here simply row is equals to, so we have 6 entities, so it will start from 0, so the 7 rows will be occupied. I know that because I decided the entities, alright. So I can just write here 6, and now I need to use the column span CO, alright, which is 2, alright. Now it has completed, so let's see. First for the entry box, first we have created the user info which we have defined all the information, and there is a variable called counter which we will be using here to increase our row, alright. And Then we created the submit button. All right, now let's run this program. There is an error. What is it saying? String var is not defined. Right, so we need to use the tk dot. We need to use the library which is tk dot string var. So don't worry, we can just overwrite it. All right. So basically I needed to use the tk dot and which is tk dot. All right. Now it should be fine. Now again run this program. There is also an error. What is it saying? I used these brackets here, square brackets, which I should not be used because I don't need to call this dictionary. Dictionary is not callable. All right, let's see if I don't repeat the same mistake. No, now it should be fine. There are so many applications is open, so let's close all these and again run it. Now let's run this application. So now there is a pop-up here, so let's maximize it. So there is a name loop which I set. Now name, I can write the age, the gender also. All right, country, state, state is this, and city. All right, as you can see, if I minimize it, all right, and as I click the submit button, all the information that I entered is appeared on the screen. All right, so what we have learned, so basically whatever you write here will be appear on the screen because it is in the string. So if you can see that basically in the so basically just after the previous input, the next is appearing. So now so basically what we have learned so far, we have learned that in order to create the widgets, we don't need to write these lines for each and every entity. So in previous video we needed to create these 3 lines for each and every entity, for separate for the name, age, gender, country, state and city. So if we are going to separate these lines for each and every country, so maybe there are 24 more lines for labels and entry box separately. Same goes to here, that we don't need to create these lines for each and every entity. If I have 25 entries, so I can use the same method to create these 25 entries. All right, so I hope you learned something new from this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. See you in next week. Thank you very much.